The following is a paid program. This is the Straight to Ale Swim, Bike, Run Alabama show, promoting swimming, biking, and running events all over North Alabama. Here are your hosts, Parker Edmiston and Doug Tinkham.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new show, Swim, Bike, Run Alabama, here on WTKI in Huntsville, WEKI in Decatur. We're brought to you by Straight to Ale Brewery, a microbrew extraordinaire here in Huntsville, Alabama. If you're looking to go out and have a good time with friends and drink some great microbrew, go see them at Straight to Ale Brewery. And as always, our first guest for this week is Allie Meeks from ReadySetSweat.net.
Not always, but just on the best shows.
Well, I mean, yeah, she makes the show, does
She does.
So she's the she's first in the lineup today. Allie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking our abuse from week to week, and
It's
not
my pleasure.
not just throwing down and just whooping the hell out of Doug that he needs.
I would like that. Your voice sounds a lot the same.
It does. I've been fighting this cold for a while.
You have. Perhaps it's time to go to a doctor.
Yes, maybe so.
Is it telethon time? If y'all would just call in your donations today, you know, the Obamacare is not making it for Allie, and she's still clinging to this illness. Allie, I want to talk to you today about a big topic for swimmers, and that is to go capless.
That's right.
So cap or capless?
You can interpret that however you want, yes. So the cap in swimming, the whole main purpose of the cap is basically to keep your hair out of your face and to protect your hair from the damage from chlorine. Another reason for it is to keep your head warm. So we can talk about all those different reasons. Yeah.
All those? How about aerodynamics?
Hydrodynamics, but yes, I guess that would be a fourth
Hydrodynamics.
reason. Thank you.
I was reading, I
If
wasn't
you
listening.
shave your head bald, though, you have the same effect.
Okay.
So it just depends.
Was
So it's just-
visibility one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in open water visibility.
Open water, yeah. So five. Okay, 5 reasons. This is
See?
good. I'm learning something.
Now we've got one.
Comfort is not a reason.
No.
No, they're not comfortable. That's right.
Doug over the weekend had
Here it comes.
Oh
he had a neon pink.
I did have a neon pink. I did.
Swim cap on.
Yeah.
Not a good look for a lot of people, but
Or
you sir carried it well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What was
that
it,
whole
45 to 49 was
Yeah.
neon pink.
Yes.
a lot of visibility, and that's one thing I guess for open water swims we always think about is you got to have the cap on so boaters can see you.
Yeah.
yes. Something bright too. Go with yellow, orange, pink in this case.
Most swims,
Not white.
they give me a black cap, which I don't know how to interpret that.
It's always nice to have the cap color, the almost identical color to one, either the water or two, the buoys. So, and you get that sometimes at swims where you'll have an
It's
orange
hard to
cap
sight.
or
People
yellow.
following you then in that case? They're
No, but
following
it's
you?
hard to sight
Yes.
yellow caps with yellow
I've had that
buoys, which is what
experience.
most people have.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the buoy. It can be
Yeah,
tough.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. Well, you know, there's 2 different kinds of caps too. Did you all know there are?
Are we being tested?
Yeah,
Is
there's
there
a
going to
test.
be a test?
Latex
There's
and
A versus
silicone.
B. Is it A or B? Yes. Yeah, how did you know?
See? This man's been
I'm a
around.
professional
Doug has been
radio
around.
personality.
Oh my God. You think he just comes in here and wings it?
I do a lot of research before I meet with you, Miss
Okay,
Meeks.
what's the benefit of having a silicone cap? Anyone?
A silicone cap is much more comfortable. It is more pliable, it is stretchier, and it comes in more fun shapes and sizes.
And it lasts a lot longer.
Okay, I
For the
didn't know
cheap ones of us, it lasts a lot longer than a latex cap. Latex one you have to keep powdering after you get out of the water to keep
Powder.
it dry. Yeah, it doesn't last as long if you don't powder it. The silicone cap, you just throw in the bag and off you go.
Doug uses Astroglide on his
I
caps.
was just
Oh,
gonna say, I was
gosh.
wondering who was going to bring that up.
Yeah, he brings the Astroglide and yeah, it goes on pretty
This
easy.
is a family show, Parker, a family show.
Well, I mean, when you've got to do things for the wetsuit and such, get your mind out of the gutter, people.
Anyway.
Speechless.
Yeah.
Another
So-
reason for the silicone cap, though, since we're talking about open water, is warmth. They are warmer than the latex caps. You'll see people doubling up with the latex cap, which is very uncomfortable. They're super, super tight. So the silicone cap, they're a little bit thicker. And in the pool, I actually find them to be too warm. My head gets too hot in the pool.
You know, I don't think I've ever knew that there was a difference in caps. So
I
that's
just know it's more comfortable as silicone is.
Yeah. Well,
by far.
there is a third type too. That's the lycra cap, and those don't last for anything because they're lycra and
There's
chlorine.
this shower cap.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
number 4. You're right. I keep
So-
thinking. there's all these
So are
things.
either one of them, is there a concern about skin sensitivity on either?
I guess
two
if you
caps?
have a latex allergy, I would go with
Okay.
silicone. Yeah, but I've never
All
heard of anyone being allergic to silicone.
Okay, so silicone is typically the ones that will be used at races?
No, they usually use latex because they're cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think, what are they, about $7-8 for a silicone?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's well worth its weight in gold. And you can get, like
Its
you
weight in
said,
gold.
crazy ones. Like I have the hamburger hat, a watermelon one, a tiara,
You've got eggs and bacon, too.
eggs and bacon. You're right. I gotta pull that out and wear that more often. But it is black, so not for open water because that would not be visible.
Okay, so we got all those. Let's see. Hydrodynamic?
Hydrodynamic, yeah.
So does it really make a difference?
For women, definitely. For men, it's not as big a deal if you have short hair as a guy, depending
That
on
might be
your
the
hair.
most sexist thing I've ever heard you
I
say.
know, I was just about to say, I probably should have caveated that. Depends on your hair
Long
length.
hair,
Well,
short
I guess
hair.
you'd have that drag, wouldn't you, from hair?
Oh, yes. It's a big one. Yeah, makes it hard to see.
If you're swimming backwards, it would be hard to see. Doesn't it stay behind you?
It goes in your face and you try to breathe. So, yeah.
All good
these
things to
good things to
know.
think about.
Doug, you get an A for effort today for
Thank
your pre-interview research, as always.
I know things.
And you do know things. Hey, Allie, we appreciate you coming in. ReadySetSweat.net. Allie Meeks, swim coach extraordinaire. Go on our website and check her out. We'll be back after these messages.
You're clear.
You make the best espresso known to man. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment here on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. Brought to you by Straight to Ale, the finest brew known to mankind, right here in Huntsville, Alabama. We've got a special guest with us on this segment, and that's Phil Walton, who is the owner of unfilteredkayaking.com. UNPHILTERED kayaking.com. Phil, thanks for being here again this week.
Thanks for having me.
Phil, we met you a few weeks ago over in Lake Guntersville, and you started telling us about your assisting races. And you know, we have the Lake Guntersville Triathlon coming up on May 2nd and 3rd, but you assist in the swim. How'd you get involved in doing that?
Well, I got involved over in the Chattanooga area with some of the triathlons over there through the Tennessee Valley Canoe Club. As a member there, they were always active in supporting any triathlon, any distance swimming in the Chattanooga area. And we really didn't have anything over here, and since I live in Guntersville, it was just a natural progression.
So you've helped with the triathlons there in the Tennessee River, and now you'll be at the Lake Guntersville on May 2nd and 3rd. As a kayak support in a race, what do you see as the biggest issue safety-wise for race directors?
Well, for the race directors, obviously, it's ensuring that the kayaks are where they need to be, and which is usually never in the front of the pack, and also that they don't need to be yelling at the kayakers to get out of the way of the swimmers. That's probably the two biggest things.
Yeah, we've always, in our races, we allow the kayakers to be in the middle of our swim area. Of course, the boats, safety personnel with the rescue squad and the fire departments are on the outside.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're going to have a linear swim, so
Right.
you guys can just line up and.
Yeah, we will probably parallel you. then.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you all typically sort of go mid-pack to maybe some of the slower swimmers. Now, does this explain why it's sometimes Doug Tinkham sometimes has 3 or 4 personal kayakers next to him?
It's usually because it's girls. I just can't keep them away.
Doug actually had a great swim down in New
I
Orleans.
did. I had
Had a
record swim
34
for
minute.
myself.
Outstanding.
They almost canceled the swim down there because of bacteria in the water. They had a lot of runoff down there.
It seemed pretty clean, but that's what I have to tell myself.
But now the water at Lake Guntersville is really clean. And Phil, you've been out there on the water a lot.
A lot. Yes, absolutely.
You've got a brochure, and folks can go on your website, unfilteredkayaking.com, and you got some neat photos in your pamphlets, and that shows just the wildlife that's in the area. What type of wildlife do you typically see when you go out locally?
It is such a variety. I mean, we have seen coyotes at the water's edge in the evening. We've seen deer at the water's edge in the evenings.
Any bears?
No bears.
No bears.
We've heard bobcat, though.
Yeah.
We have heard bobcats And but a lot of times it's primarily waterfowl, and of course this time of year we've got eagles and ospreys in the area. So it's wonderful to sit out there and not really disturb them as they're fishing, and to watch an osprey drop about 80 feet in just seconds is amazing, and hit the water and come up with the fish.
Now, on your brochure here, you have brown bats emerging from the Hamburg Bat Cave.
That is probably the most popular thing that the business does right now, and we encourage everyone to go out and see the Hamburg Bat Cave.
So do folks call you, or they get on the internet, and do they arrange trips, or do they arrange days, or how do they get in touch with you?
They can arrange days, they can reserve the number of boats, and they get group discounts as well.
And I know that you give them special training before they start on their trip to make it as safe as possible.
Absolutely. Everyone gets some basic instruction, and they have all the appropriate safety gear with them as well.
Okay, Phil, we appreciate you coming back. If you're looking to do some kayaking this spring, look at unfilteredkayaking.com on the internet. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Have a good one, Phil.
Thank you.
You're clear.
Over. Cool. All right, welcome back, everybody. Another segment here on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama on WEKI in Huntsville, WTKI in Decatur. I got that bass backwards, Doug.
You did.
I'm here with Doug Tinkle, my co-host, and we're sponsored by Straight to L. But this segment, Huntsville Track Club is in the house. We've got a committee member, and that is Suzanne Taylor. Thanks, Suzanne, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone knows Suzanne because she's with Fleet Feet Sports, and she's been a race director for years and years. And she is the co-race director, or the race director, of one of the funnest events in North Alabama, and that is the Cotton Row.
That's right. Cotton Row is one of the historic races in Huntsville. We're on our 36th annual running. And we start at the VBC, and we run around Mountainwood, or we run around the cemetery at Maple Hill Cemetery, and then we come down or go up Mountainwood and then come down Bankhead. So it's known for running up Mountainwood. That's the most famous part of the race. It's at about mile 3, and you can say you run up it, or you can say you walked up it.
Well, everybody says they run up
Yeah,
it.
you
The
gotta say you
truth
run up
is, there's a lot of walking on that hill.
No video, there's no way to prove
Yeah,
it.
there's no
Yeah, but
proof.
Greg Gilmas will be out there with his picture, so.
Oh, and he would do that, wouldn't he?
I
For
know.
memorialize the
Yeah.
walk. That's a great addition to any run, is having a signature piece of it, and,
Yeah,
and that
crazy
run
part.
there. It is so steep. What's it? Do you know what the
You
incline
know, I
is
don't
there?
know. It's about 1/10 of a mile though, so it seems like it's forever. And then of course you get to fly down the hill, and
That's worse to me than going up it.
Well, it's a long, is it Bankhead, which is a really long descent. So it's not real steep, but it's real long.
you can really get flying pretty good. Yeah, it's not hard on your knees
You
or
don't
your
know me.
quads or anything.
I've never flown.
Well, and then, you know, we've added the last couple of years, we've really tried to focus on our military at Cotton Row. And last year, Carrie Branson brought out the Gold Star families. And I think that had a great impact for the runners there at the start-finish area, to see our fallen officers and their family members there with their pictures and the American flags. I think coming into the finish line, you see that, and it's very impactful, and I'm really glad we added that to a Memorial Day run.
Well, I think that most runners would be surprised if they're not from this area, just how much the Cotton Row has grown over the years. You have just thousands and thousands of runners.
Well, that's right, and I guess it was about 9 years ago we added the 5K to the race, and Jim Oakes was the previous race director, and he did that, and that really added to the numbers because of the growing popularity of running, and people maybe not quite so sure that they can handle the 10K distance can still run the 5K. And then it becomes a real family event because we have the 1 mile as well. So the whole family can come out, and somebody, and the wife can do the 10K, and the husband can do the 5K. And then the kids or the whole family can do the 1 mile. So there's something for everybody, or everybody can do the 1 mile. It's just really a real fun family event.
Well, this is sort of one of those national events. You got Peachtree over there that has thousands, but for Alabama, this is, I think, is the signature 10K run that there is. Real fun before race, after race, and like you said, all the patriotism, all the officers recognized. How many do you expect to be at this year's event?
We'll have about 4,500. We get close to 5,000 every year, but we kind of hover between 4,500 and 5,000. Kind of really depends on the weather. You know how that is.
It's a big event.
It is a big event, and in fact, I think it's more taxing than putting on the marathon, putting on 3 events altogether. And just it's hot, so a lot of people will come out and they haven't trained, so we want to encourage everybody to train before they come out and run. So.
Train before you run?
Oh,
it's always a good idea.
Yeah, that is a crazy concept.
I know.
Do you know of any training programs by chance for the Cotton Row?
Well, right now we're about 4 weeks away from 4 or 5 weeks away from the start. So you got about 5 weeks, and Fleet Feet's already in the middle of their 10K training program. But if you're training for Cotton Row, you want to start now. Start adding your mileage. And if you're already to the 5K distance, try adding just a half a mile or so every weekend until we get to race day so that it's not too hard. Now, beginning the first weekend in May, Fleet Feet will have group runs every Saturday and Sunday at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. led by the Fleet Feet racing team. And there'll be a water stop at the top of Mountain Wood, and we want to encourage everybody to come out and practice on the course.
Will you start at the VBC as well each week?
We start on the official race course, and we'll... the race team will kind of tour everybody and tell them how to run the course, and the course is marked so you don't get lost, and kind of give them some guidance along the way.
Is it chip time? I'm sure it is.
We are chip timed.
Is there any thought of maybe having an event to see who can get up the hill the quickest?
I think you'd have to have a chip mat at the bottom and then one at the top, huh?
I've raced I've run the event a couple of times.
Oh, you raced it?
Well, for me, very slowly. But I've had the opportunity to watch the lead runners run up that hill, and they just bound.
Now, were you looking back at them?
They're like, oh yeah, over my shoulder. Like, come and get some of this. But they just bound up that hill. I mean, it's amazing to watch the quality of runners that you get to this event.
That's right. This event does draw the elite athletes from Ethiopia and Kenya, and because we have prize money, and so we always set there's a special prize money bonus if you break the course record. And last year they were within 9 seconds of breaking the course record, but he didn't do it.
And is that based on, you think, more on the weather, or what factors go into that?
Well, you could probably get more elite people there if you had more prize money, but the amount of prize money that our race can put forth is a little bit limited, but we do have a $5,000 bounty on that course record. So
Doug, you have to start
training.
Doug, you have to
4 weeks.
Well, no.
I can add a half mile.
I was going to say you're going to have to start at least 15 minutes ahead of everybody else.
15.
Yeah, well,
at
that was
least 15.
nice.
Yeah.
At least 15, probably.
I'm
I don't know.
thinking much more than
So
that.
they were like 31 minutes for
31 for that.
30
It's
30 to break the course record. So 30 and change.
Well, and you said you can't offer just a ton of money because this is a very affordable race for runners.
So right now the entry fee is $20 for the 10K and the 5K, and $10 for the 1 mile. So
And
that's affordable for even larger families to register.
How do folks register for the events?
They can go to the Cotton Row website or HuntsvilleTrackClub.org, and online registration is through active.com.
And so we want to push the numbers up. We'd like to see that at least 4,500, if not 5,000.
Yeah, let's take it to 5.
Let's make it 5.
Take it to
Take it to
5.
6.
Yeah. Yeah, big jump.
Aim high.
Suzanne Taylor from Fleet Feet, committee member at Huntsville Track Club. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be back after these messages.
Mics are clear.
Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another segment here on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. We're brought to you each week by Straight to L. We're here on WTKI in Huntsville and WEKI in Decatur. Of course, you can look us up on Facebook and on our website, swimbikeRunAlabama.com. I'm Park Redniston here with my co-host Doug Tinkham. And in studio for this segment, we have Andrew Walker from PhysioWorksHSV.com. Andrew, thanks for being here again.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Andrew, last week you were here and we talked about the need for warming up before an event, cooling down after an event.
Correctly. Not just warming up, because we all do that.
Yeah, we talked about the superstitions and the need to properly warm up and cool down after an event. But this week, what would you like to talk about, Andrew?
Well, like I say, that's a good way of helping to reduce your injury. The other way, is really the key thing, is the performance. What can we do about our performance to help reduce injury risk and hopefully improve our performance?
Well, I know if you're injured, you can't perform well. So how do you suggest that someone run injury-free? What's the steps they need to take to get into a good running posture or get to running form? What do you suggest for them?
Well, I think one of the things that we've seen, unfortunately, is that there's been a lot of overuse injuries over the years. So really the reason that that's been a problem is that we're combining poor mechanics, running mechanics, with more miles, more workouts, and you combine those and there's a real cumulative effect, and we start to see really horrible injuries. And we've actually, just for a statistic at you, like youth injuries, between 96 and 2006, we've seen a 924% increase in ACL injuries in 15-year-olds and under, which is a crazy amount.
Do you think intensity has increased too?
I think so, and I think particularly with our adolescents, we've seen probably a little bit too much of a push from coaches and parents, and not realising that they're not really ready for it. But even in adults or people who take sport up at a later stage, there's a tendency to be pushed maybe a little bit too much.
Well, I think that, and also the availability of training programs that you just find on the internet.
Sure.
So you decide you want to do a sprint triathlon, in 2 months from now. Well, you can go on the internet and here's a 10-week program for training. And that doesn't mean it's, those are guidelines, but people will start from zero or very close to zero, and they'll go 90 to nothing. And I think that's horrible for a lot of athletes.
Yeah, I agree. One of the problems we see is that, like you say, they go from 90 to nothing. They're not really sure how to progress, and they're looking online. And a lot of these articles, they're written by well-intentioned people, but they're not
always. Who are already in
always
fantastic shape a lot of times.
Well, yeah, that's true, but they're also not necessarily looking at the latest science and research out there. And that's one of the things I wanted to bring with the business that I've started up, is to look at the research and really try and apply it to the athletes that come across my desk. And I did that before, but this has really given me an even bigger opportunity to do that.
And so you're developing a program to help folks run injury-free or then to heal after an injury.
Correct.
And so that's one thing you do at PhysioWorksHSV.com here in Huntsville. How'd you get into PhysioWorksHSV.com?
Yeah, so I worked at TOC for 6 years, and I've been a PT for nearly 12 years, and I'd always watched and had patients come by, keep getting injured with different things, and you'd try and work on injury prevention, but unfortunately insurance often limited that. Didn't even want to get you back to work or sport, let alone prevent the injury. So I decided that this was a good opportunity to step out on my own and really launch a business that aimed at sort of fixing some of the problems that I see.
So you obviously have the background and the education to help these runners and athletes out. One thing you say about the misconception and these voodoo things that you remember from your youth, I remember in football where we used to have two-a-days where the coaches did not want you to have water.
No.
How insane is that?
It'll make you sick.
It'll make you sick.
Take a salt tablet.
Yeah, and now I think the same mindset is, well, you got that nagging injury, well, just ignore it. And it's not going to go away, but just suck it up, buttercup. And I don't think that's the best thing to do.
No, it's certainly not. And I mean, unfortunately, that has come from 20, 30 years ago when we were in school, what people were telling us, and we sort of carry that through. And it's only through good education that we actually change our practices and pass it on correctly to the next generation. And I was actually, I posted a little post on Facebook from the BBC, and it was about how the Real Madrid soccer team, they actually have 81 luxury bedrooms at their training facility because they realise how important the good, correct sleep pattern is on their performance.
Now, you may call it soccer, but here in the States we call it football.
Well, the injury-free, definitely important. If someone gets injured, how do they correct that injury, and what do you suggest for them?
I mean, the first thing obviously is to treat the pain, because when you have pain, it actually doesn't allow the muscles to function as well as they should do. Things actually get inhibited and shut down. So once we've got the pain controlled, be it via medicine or different treatments, we can then actually start to correct the mechanics. And once someone's actually operating pretty well, that's when I tend to get them on the treadmill, and we can actually then look at their real running mechanics and start to fine-tune things. And then hopefully, as they fine-tune things, we can really see differences in their performances and hopefully start to see personal bests and really.
How similar is treadmill running to real-world running?
There are certainly some differences, and I think most people who do road running or whatever, they don't necessarily like going back onto a treadmill.
I mean, from a
Biomechanically?
Thank you. Biomechanically.
Basically, when you're running on a flat treadmill, it does not quite equate to normal.
I guess I'm still not getting my question across. When you're teaching someone how to run correctly via treadmill, how do you take that to the real world?
Right. On the treadmill, you can definitely do some things that will have crossover, but I actually do teach people different techniques that they can use out in the real world. So, for instance, if someone's got a running pattern where their feet are too narrow or they're even crossing, on the treadmill we can put a bit of masking tape there, and they've got to try and keep their feet either side of the line. In the real world, they go and run around a track, and they try and straddle the lane marker, or they find a road and they try and straddle the yellow line or whatever.
Or you can wear big shoes.
Trip yourself up.
You can wear two right shoes, and that'll keep your foot pointed the other way. You have great blogs on your website, and folks can go on there and look at the blogs to get educated on all sorts of things. How often do you blog on your website?
We try once or twice a week. That's our aim.
And I'm amazed, the amount of literature that you put out there, injury prevention and such. But you also do that on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I link to my own personal blog articles on Facebook, but I keep an eye on different blogs of other therapists and sports performance professionals around the country and around the world. And if I see something that's good for my clients, I'll put it out there.
Well, I know you want to do what's best for the athletes, and if someone's got a good idea from another place, then you want to incorporate that into your business as well.
Exactly, and I mean, I think the key thing is I want it to be something that is really actually proven, something that's been proven through science. Now, sometimes there are things that are very hard to prove through science, but if we can find real evidence-based things, that's a great option for people, because we know that it's going to work.
So do you think that the injuries that you will see this springtime, we're just now getting into the triathlon season, which is important to us, what can people do to limit their injury early on in the season?
I think getting a good warm-up, warm-down routine is key. I think making sure you're introducing your mileage and your time gradually. And honestly, I think a good biomechanical assessment is important if you've had problems before, or if you want to get better.
If you want to get the assessment, then we certainly encourage you to go and call Andrew and look up the number and such on PhysioWorksHSV.com here in Huntsville. Andrew will treat you right and get you on the right path for this season. Thanks again, Andrew, for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
You're clear.
We'll see you next week somewhere.
Welcome back to the Demolition Center.
Easy, baby.
Here on swimbikeRunAlabama.com. I'm Parker Edmiston with my co-host and wrecking ball, Doug Pinkham.
I guess we need to start over. That
Oh,
told me
okay.
the mics weren't even on.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
That was classic, though. Do you want me to kill this music?
Yeah, that's some horrible music.
No, okay.
I wasn't sure whether it'd be like, yeah. So one of you likes it, one of you doesn't.
The one with bad music taste likes it. Sorry. It's
Yeah.
true.
You sang at, what you sang? You're going to tell.
Is that better?
That's great.
All right. Here we go. About 5 seconds.
It's awful
I
today.
said that all day. Hey, Hey, welcome back everybody to a funky new show, swimbikeRunAlabama.com here on WTKI in Huntsville. We're brought to you as always by Straight to L Brewery. I'm here with my friend and co-host Doug Tinkham. I'm Parker Edmiston, and we have the one and only Chris Levin with us from Bicycle Cove. Chris, thanks for being here today.
Glad to be here, digging the jams.
Cool. Chris, we need to talk today about something that's revolutionary, and that is power meters. Who needs them, and can't we all get them now?
Yes, I feel like anyone that does any kind of structured training or is interested in improving their fitness, especially on the bike, a power meter is almost imperative.
What's a power meter going to tell you?
A power meter is measuring your power output in watts. So as you're driving through the pedals, whatever power it's taking to do that, it's going to tell you what you're doing.
And why do you need to know that?
It's a way to better structure your training. So you're not just going out there one day riding hard, one day not riding hard. Not a lot of us have a whole lot of time to train, families, jobs. It's a way to take your limited time and get the most out of it.
So if you're going out on a training ride and you want to hit X amount of watts, then you want it structured. And so, say for instance, Doug Tinkham at 700 watts.
I was thinking more of a 3 watt.
Yeah.
Bright as a 3 watt light bulb, I've been told I am.
But I mean, if you're going to be consistent, and if you want to train, you want to track it. A lot of folks do.
I've heard a lot of people say it's more about taking it easy than it is pushing it hard.
Yeah, I mean, there are times when you do have to work hard to get better, but I think what a lot of folks aren't good at is, like you said, taking a break, backing off a little bit, giving your body a chance to recover. And what using a power meter can do is you're going to have a specific workout where you have to hit a specific amount of wattage or average a specific amount of wattage, and you got to stick to it, and that meter is going to help you figure that out.
Well, I think, we've got a guest coming up soon who's going to talk about redlining. When you're out on a training run or a training ride, if you redline, if you go up there, it's hard for your body to get back into the zone.
I couldn't agree anymore. I mean, if you're overworking your body, that's not helpful whatsoever.
What did your power meter say going up the old Gunnersville mountain?
I was just thinking that. Yeah. So where were you at?
I saw some smoke coming out of it.
I have no. I have used power meters in the past, but I guess my training's not structured enough. But I mean, that would have been interesting to know for sure.
If y'all don't know, you should know is that Chris Levin is the 2015 champion so far. Holds the record for the climbing time trial at Lake Gunnersville State Park.
Not only is he holding the title, but he has put a $100 bounty on anyone that can knock him off.
A $100 bounty if you can come out to the state park, and
we're going to try to match that.
And we are going to match that.
All right, we are going to match that.
So we'll match that. So if you come out, you want a piece of Chris's record, you better come out and get at it, because he went hard.
And he pretty much said that was going to hold till 16.
Well, man. Under the bus is coming.
Yeah. So Chris, as people should know, I mean, it's a 2-mile climbing time trial up to the lodge, and at one point you said it kicked up to what grade?
24%, and it comes at you in a hurry. The wall.
And so at the first of the climb, we videotaped it, and we have it on our Facebook page, Swim Bike Run Alabama, and you see Chris tooling along and looks pretty leisure.
It wasn't easy filming it. It was so steep.
Well, yeah, and then
I fell out the van.
Yeah.
He ran me over.
Yeah. So you got filmed, and you were at a leisure pace, fast, but then it kicked up, and it is a grind up there.
Yeah, I think the next day I was looking at the information on Garmin Connect, and I think I was going 3.5 miles an hour at one point.
Yeah.
That is a crawl. Yeah.
Yeah. And so power meters, back to that, if you train on flat land or if you're training on climbing, will power meters help you get a regimented training schedule?
Yeah, it'll help help you build your fitness. And then when you come to your target race or event, like the Lake Gunnersville climbing time trial, it'll help you know what you have to do to beat the record or beat your best time, because you're going to have a specific amount of wattage you have to maintain to achieve that. And so it gives you sort of a target and a number to sit in front of you and say, if I do this, I'm going to reach success.
Now you've had to get into your wallet pretty heavy before on power meters, but it's my understanding that the price is coming down.
They have dropped like a rock. I think mostly in part from companies like Stages, for example, out of Colorado, able to develop a really reliable system using the professional Peloton for half as much as other power meters. So over the last 6 months, we've seen the power meter wars, and what that means for us is good product at a much, much lower price.
You carry those at Bicycle Cove?
Yeah, we primarily do Stages. We do a little bit with the Garmin Vector system and some with SRAM's Quark system as well.
And so you've got something for everybody that wants a power meter. This is a great time of the year to indulge yourself a little bit and spend a little bit of money and increase your training potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to get better on the bike and be faster, more efficient, and get better fitness, a power meter is definitely one of the best things you can buy.
Okay, if you're looking for some new technology and some improved cycling, go to Bicycle Cove there in Brownsboro, Huntsville, Alabama.
Yep, come on down and see us. We'll help you out.
See you, Chris.
All right, see you guys.
You're clear.
Is it Brownsboro?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody, here on Swim Bike Run Alabama. I'm Park Redliston here with Doug Tinkham, my co-host. And we have this week on the final segment, the We Run Huntsville segment, we have Chris Borden, Borden Dental over in Muscle Shows. Chris, as you all remember, is the Kona qualifier, the 70.3 World Champ qualifier, the ITU Amateur World Champ qualifier, first amateur finisher at Ironman Chattanooga. He's on the Team Diamond. He's on Team Zoot. Really an exceptional athlete. Chris, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I enjoy listening to the show.
All right, Chris, we were talking last week about New Orleans that you did a couple weeks ago. Tell us a little bit more about that race and your preparation and going down. You said you wanted to race with a friend, but how did you address the issues of the wind and the heat down there in New Orleans?
Well, the wind and the heat are the same for everybody. It's, everybody deals with it. The big thing about New Orleans is the road surface. That broken concrete expansion joints and the broken asphalt really makes it a challenge to ever get into a rhythm and get smooth. And that's what makes the race pretty ideal for me, or at least part of it, is I got the diamond, and it really helps to give you that smooth power delivery because of the slight, ever so slight movement of the beam.
How windy was it when you came in on that levee, Chris? Because you finished, 10 or 12 hours before I did.
Did you say windy?
Yeah, how bad was that headwind coming in on the levee on that last?
It was pretty sporty, honestly.
Okay.
I was surprised. I mean, we got a pretty good push going out, of course, but coming back in, it was hitting you right in the mouth.
Yeah, it was tough.
Well, I was up with some riders, and we were talking for a minute there on that levee coming back in, and it seemed like even a slight uphill grade coming in. Do you see the same, or are you always going downhill?
Yeah, I don't know. At that point, I was just trying to get off the bike. I had two guys. One was a relay guy, and then there was one guy in my age group that was just ahead of me, and I had every intention of trying to be the first one off the bike and out of T2.
Well, you come in on the bike, and I think your T2 time was less than a minute. As always, you're really quick in transition. Then you go out on the run, and within the first half mile, you have to climb over a substantial climb over a bridge, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty sporty. I was expecting a pancake, just a nice little pancake course out there, and there's a couple little ups. I guess it's a net uphill going out, but then going over that bridge, it's a great opportunity to blow yourself up for sure.
Yeah. I was thinking about the training that I've been fortunate enough to have with you, and I wondered how hard you pushed it up that bridge, because I know I took your advice and walked.
280 watts was what I was rolling up at. So, It's harder than I rode the rest of the course, but not very much.
Well, I told Doug that I thought that the course on the run anyway was going to be a mostly open sun, and you know, it was blazing hot. How'd you find the run course to be?
It was, yeah, the wind going out again was right at you, and I kept thinking it would be nice and comfortable coming back.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when you turn around, it was like walking into, I don't know, a locker room is what I felt like, because there was just enough wind that with, you know, at your back, it just felt calm. So it's like having a wet washcloth over your face and trying to run.
Well, with me, I turned the corner at 6.5 miles, you know, and never felt the wind obviously again, and then it just got brutally hot.
It was
on
hot.
course. Where'd you place, Chris, at New Orleans?
I was first in the age group, 5th amateur, and I think 24th overall.
Hammer, hammer, hammer.
You are a hammer, man.
Chris, fantastic talking to you, as always. Great seeing you out on course, and I think you're an inspiration to a lot of athletes, and I know you're a great coach over there in Muscle Shows. And thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate you inviting me.
Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama.